What up? What is up from... I'm not telling you where I am. I'm hiding too. I'm a secret. You don't know who I am. It's a secret. It's the Fake Truth Show. Secret person doing the Fake Truth Show.
Are you sure you're not going to tell him? Isn't this like giving it away?
It's okay, dude. Just chill. Chill. It's all good. Yeah, nice. Okay, we seem to be, we have green lights here. Yeah, I just want to prove, that I'm a real person. This is not a bot. I'm not faking all this, but I'm really happy that you're here with me on this show. And, believe it, dude. I'm going to try to keep some really strict timelines here. That's the plan. Really quick intro. We start the news at 1 minute. We start the next section at 11 minutes and the following section at 22 minutes. Just, because of the numbers. And the show will be over at 33 minutes. So, just, my loyal supporters know I'm just kind of weird about numbers. And, well, it's not just me. It's coming from higher up. There's a lot of people interested in numbers, and I'm just trying to channel that a little bit here on the show. At any rate, it's good to be here. It's good to see you. If you are seeing this, seeing me, I'm out of excuses. I gotta just do this show. I gotta do this show. I gotta do it right now. And so, hopefully we have a good time. I think we're gonna have a good time. So my new plan, right? Because everything is moving so quickly these days. I can prepare stuff. I can research things. I definitely want to continue to do a little bit of that. But the plan really is to just give you just the snapshot of the moment in time that we're in, because, well, it's all just rapidly flowing into the past. And if I research something in the morning, it may not even be that relevant by the evening. So the new plan is here's my Feedly, which you as well could set up yourself. I encourage you actually to not look at just one individual news source. That will warp your mind. But if you can see multiple news sources and sort of balance from there, it's helpful, right? So okay, this first section is the news. Now we're going to get into the news, and I'm just going to hit this refresh button because that news that you were seeing just then is old news. And well, we're just going to click through a little bit, and it's hard to talk about anything anymore on the good old YouTube because, well, you must know if you're interested in anything truth related, it's really just been gutted. And I thought, as soon as you think it's really just gotten pretty bad, they kick it up to that next level, and a lot of channels that are even just pretty, not that crazy, not saying all sorts of insane things. They're getting pulled, they're getting censored, they're getting rejected, and even this channel, even though it's been dormant for a minute, this channel is also pretty heavily suppressed. And you'll notice whenever you see this video, it may not be right after the live stream ends because, well, my videos tend to stay in processing for up to 24 hours at this point, which can sort of kill the relevance, if you know what I mean. It's a really good tactic from them. Instead of outright banning me or completely just getting rid of this channel, they can just make it less relevant, and that's I commend you, YouTube. You're always thinking on your feet, always coming up with new ways to just make sure that people get the right information. But there's nothing crazy happening on this channel. We're just looking at mainstream news sources and trying to read the tea leaves, connect the dots. So yeah, enough of that. I'm trying to get this a little snappier so we can have more information and less, bro, how's it going?
Well, I mean, it's going pretty good. I mean, we could have a conversation.
I mean, it's not really time. It's time to get into the news.
Well, okay, then just get in the news. Don't stop talking to me.
Okay. Anyways, Trump supporter caravan blocks people from voting in California. Now, I have been seeing this a lot recently in the news, sort of Trump people getting out and doing direct action, blocking cars and causing, in general, just sort of chaos. And well, it's definitely being heavily reported on. So think about that what you will. A huge caravan of supporters of President Donald Trump reportedly blocked the road to a voting center in Temecula, California on Sunday afternoon, prompting would-be voters to call the police. Damn, dude. The supporters paraded for 60 miles through Riverside County on Sunday afternoon before gathering at the city's sports park. However, the crowd and their vehicles also ended up obstructing the access to the site, which included a voting center, according to the LA Times, leading some voters to complain to the authorities that the behavior amounted to intimidation, right? So, I'm trying to remember what that was called. Something I think people used to do all the time during elections. There would be the mob or a bunch of like sort of strong guys standing out in front of the polling place, and well, I guess basically they would threaten to baseball bat your knees if you didn't vote the way that they wanted, and they would check your ticket on your way out of the polling place, and that's how they were able to sort of manipulate and control voting. We can't really think of a specific example, but that definitely is the narrative that used to happen in the past. It's sort of strong men standing out front of the polling place and smashing your kneecaps if you voted the wrong way, and then making you an example in front of the rest of the people. So we are definitely. I'm not saying what's true or what isn't, because I don't think any of us can speak to that anymore. We live outside of reality. All of us. No one is. No one can escape the fantasy land that now sort of envelops this entire world. No one can say for sure, but the definitely the narrative that is being pushed here is that the Trump supporters are getting out en masse, and I guess they somehow know that they're not going to win or can't, and are therefore resorting to these old sort of mob tactics of intimidation and keeping people from voting in their voting locations. Although I sort of thought that everybody had the Rona and they were stuck at home and were mailing in their ballots. So I'm not sure how effective these blockades are going to be at stopping the mail trucks, but it's definitely a pretty powerful narrative that is going around these days. I'm trying to remember. There was a story, yesterday, I think, in a different location about the same kind of thing. So that definitely is a little nuts. Now, geez, see, I'm trying to work on my time management. I'm eating through all my news time. I always want to hit a little bit of regular news and a little bit of science news. Let's check this out. Warming of 2 degrees centigrade would release billions of tons of soil carbon. So, I just want to give you a daily reminder of your guilt. You should be ashamed of your actions, and that soda that you're drinking right now, that takeout that you ordered, well, it's responsible for ruining the planet, and you better feel bad about it. You should feel bad. Do you feel bad? You should feel bad.
I don't know if they feel bad, dude.
Well, they should, okay? Just feel bad. Global warming of this amount would lead to 230 billion tons of carbon being released into the world's soil, new research suggests. Global soils contain 2 to 3 times more carbon than the atmosphere, and high temperatures speed up decomposition, reducing the amount of time carbon spends in the soil, known as soil carbon turnover. So this is an interesting new angle to the carbon guilt cycle. Often, right, where we're thinking about factories and other sort of large-scale problems that are making our planet ruined through your fault. And this is just something that I haven't really thought about too much myself as well, that there's carbon in the soil itself. And when temperatures get hot, that soil sort of hardens and evaporates, and that some of that carbon would also evaporate into the air. And even though this is coming from dirt in the ground, you guessed it, right? It's definitely still your fault personally. I'm talking to you. I guess you can't see me pointing, but just rest assured, I'm talking to you. It's your fault, and that would be a lot of carbon, and that's the thing about these sort of science articles that assume that you don't really know what's going on. You just see 50 billion tons and think, oh shit, that is a lot of tons. I don't want that in the air. That's obviously bad. But the thing about science and big numbers, it's easy to convince and send your mind in a certain direction. And well, I don't know how, I don't know, dude. I'm just super I'm super hesitant to believe anything anymore. Anything anybody's telling me, especially if it's sort of forcefully and over again. So, think of that what you will. But that's about all the time we have for the news. And man, I'm getting some serious audio dropouts there. Getting some serious major audio problems there with the audio file the way I set it up. It's very difficult to set up all this technology, and there's always seems to be sort of issues happening. But I'm not gonna let that stop me. Never planned on letting that stop me. So I hope it doesn't stop you either. Now, in previous iterations of this show, we were a little more focused on just the anomalies, the strange things happening out in the world, and I'm still very interested in that. I still find all of that deeply fascinating. But I am also trying to figure out a way to do a show here on the YouTubes that will pass through the test, right? That won't be so offensive to the algorithms as to also get this thing canceled, because that would be unfortunate. So what I've been thinking lately is to move this a little bit into the financial sort of world, especially cryptocurrency, and to have that be sort of the focus here. Not to say that we're not going to speak about truth and everything else that's related to the truth, as far as I can, the best that I can do, but that's the thing. A lot of that's getting shut down. So my new plan here is to filter that truth through the lens of the cryptocurrency world, and well, see what comes out of that, right? So I understand if you want to unsubscribe, if you're totally done, and you just wanted to hear truth related things, well then, I'm sorry about that. But a lot of that's just done. It was fun while it lasted, and that's something I said, I think, a long time ago when I started the channel. That it wasn't going to be forever. That was a limited time in space where we were given the technology, the freedom to use the technology, and then the time between that getting shut down and regulated, and basically recaptured by the corporate entities that control them. So I'm going to be switching, as we move forward a little bit more into this finance world, because, well, this stuff isn't getting censored. This stuff is allowed. We're allowed to talk about numbers, and obviously we always lead this with, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't trust me. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I definitely find it fascinating, and I still think we can get to the truth looking through this lens, right? So just to really quickly recap what's going on here, we're looking at the full sort of chart of Bitcoin itself, as far as when it started charting on this company. That's always a difficulty when we're researching these different coins or companies, when the chart itself actually started, because Bitcoin actually started way over here in 2008, and it was much cheaper at the time. But the point is that this thing has been on a very steady rise. It got into the news big time when it reached all the way up here to almost $20,000 a coin, and has been sort of cooling off since then. But if we do look at the chart, right, this is the full chart, And just to sort of reiterate from the very beginning of this chart all the way to where we are now, that's almost a 7,000% gain on return. So right, if you had just got a little Bitcoin back here in 2015 and completely spaced out, that money would be 7,000 times more than when you put it in. You could have completely just forgotten about it. Hopefully you didn't lose your keys or anything like that. But yeah, it's just moved forward, and this, I think, is all like everything in this world. Anything that gets traction or gets a lot of exposure that appears in the news, it's going to be controlled. It's going to be part of a larger agenda. It's going to be something, a teaching moment, because that's just, as far as I can tell, how this world works. You see things happening like diseases and elections and all sorts of other things, and the outcomes of that and the way these things are talked about, well, that's supposed to sort of move you into a new mode of thinking, right? You're supposed to get excited about one thing, mad about another thing, and well, that's just something I see in this cryptocurrency land. Everybody's very excited about the future. And the thing is, the charts don't lie. These are you can't go back and change these charts. This is what really happened, and you can't change anything about that. And the thing is that this chart is going up. It's going up a lot, and rumor has it that we will very soon be passing this more recent all-time high, as they say, back in when was that? December 2017. We will soon be moving past that number and probably into numbers that nobody really can imagine. It's hard to know exactly when that's going to happen, but people do say that this thing moves in 3-year cycles, and my math isn't great, but that was definitely 3 years ago, this December 17. So there is a chance that we could be here, like around here, but we're here, and that all of this growth up until this point could just look like pointless nonsense for what comes next. I mean, it could also fall off a cliff, but I really don't see that happening, because I think as I continue to do this show, you will see that this is really where everything's headed. This is where they're putting all those eggs in this basket, because, well, digital currency is just going to be a much better way to control people. It will increase spending. It will make things more easy to see and control. Even though, right, it's just, life is full of reversals. This world, it's endless. When this thing was all rolled out, it was touted as, right, freedom and anonymity and a separation from the state. And well, I'm afraid that might have been true again at the beginning. Just like YouTube used to be a place where you could speak your mind, it is quickly becoming corporatized, controlled, and locked down. And well, I'm sort of here to say that this is this is your opportunity to use this thing before the regular people really get in there. Because the crazy thing is, right, I'm sure everybody listening and everybody, almost everybody that's sort of hooked into modern culture will have heard of this, of the Bitcoin, right? It's something you've heard of. The crazy thing is, though, that there's still only about 5 million addresses, right? That's less than like half of LA County. Less than a little bit more than some major European cities. This is really not that many people still that have even taken a second to go out there and get a little bit of this thing. So that shows you sort of the potential for growth here, right? The entire money, all of the money that is in all of the different cryptocurrencies, right? Because there are many different ones. That's Bitcoin, but this is Ethereum, the other sort of major platform that everything is built on, and the list goes on and on. There are literally hundreds of thousands of coins at this point, right? But if you take up all of those coins and add them together, they're still less than, say, the value of Microsoft or some other sort of major coin. And well, that's just kind of nuts, right? Because it shows even after this insane growth, there is room for a lot more. And if we just, just for a quick comparison, if we look at Apple. Remember good old Apple. Well, this chart also looks pretty good, right? This number has been going up for a while, and it's pretty obvious that the stock market's going to crash at some point in the it's hard to say exactly when relative to near term future, right? And this will usher in sort of this new digital currency era, and it really is only a matter of time before that all goes down, right? And this number has also gone up. I'm not gonna lie about that. Let's say, I guess we could start from the very beginning in '81. If we look all the way to the top, that is almost what is that saying? 86,000%, right? That's obviously pretty good gains. But it's a lot slower. It's a lot longer timescales that we're talking about here, right? If you had bought, let's say here before this big jump, if you had bought here in 2003, yeah, you would definitely be up 20,000%. That's a very big number. But at the same time, that is a lot slower, right? That took almost 20 years to get to this number, right? Well, I guess technically about 10 years from there, but that's still a lot slower than what I'm sort of going to be talking about here in in future episodes, right? If we look at something a little more explosive, right? Well, that chart isn't going to work. I think we're going to have to go over here to this other company because some of these charts just do not, they don't work quite right, or they haven't been on there as long. Which, you hear the music. We're coming to this next phase, the entertainment phase. Yeah, entertainment, because that's sort of my plan here, at least, to keep this with a little more regularity. We can look at the standard stuff during the weather, right? That's the pattern that's moving. Those are the patterns that are moving around every day that we can check in. But there is sort of a more experimental phase that's going on here in cryptocurrency, and well, I do want to get into that a little bit as well, because it is, as well as the other coins, laying the groundwork for our future financial system that we will all inevitably be taking part in. But the beta tests need to be made, right? And any smart person doesn't do all the work themselves. They get other people to do it for them, right? So this is obviously very complicated to develop and build an entire global financial system, right? It's going to take some doing, some effort. And why put in all that research yourself, right? Why not make other people do it for you? So there has been just an absolute explosion in a new field of digital finance, and they are calling it decentralized finance, right? And just like Bitcoin itself is decentralized, right? I actually did want to get into the white paper, because right, with all these coins, with all this technology, they often have a piece of paper sort of explaining to you what the deal is, right, and what it's used for. And this is the one from Bitcoin. This is published a long time ago, at this point, 2008 or so. Just read a little bit of this. Bitcoin, a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash, would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Digital signatures provide part of the solution, but the main benefits are lost if a trusted third party is still required to prevent double spending. We propose a solution to the double spending problem using a peer-to-peer network. The network timestamps transactions by hashing them into an ongoing chain of hash-based proof of work, forming a record that cannot be changed without redoing the proof of work. The longest chain not only serves as proof of the sequence of events witnessed, but proof that it came from the largest pool of CPU power. As long as a majority of CPU power is controlled by nodes that are not cooperating to attack the network, they'll generate the longest chain and outpace attackers. The network itself requires minimal structure. Messages are broadcast on a best effort basis, and nodes leave and rejoin the network at will, accepting the longest proof of work chain as a proof of what happened while they were gone. Now, yeah, there's a lot of this sort of buzzwordy. I mean, this is the original white paper, but most of the white papers that you will read on other coins look very similar to this. A lot of buzzwords, a lot of sort of complex. What are you talking about? Hash rates. There's sort of a lot of background to I guess look into. But the basic concept, right, is that there is no need for a bank. There is no need for the Federal Reserve or any sort of other institution to check and make sure that you weren't stealing money out of the treasury or sending that person fake coins, right? It all is happening digitally, and it is also decentralized, meaning that there is no sort of central server farm like Google's servers here that this video is going to and then going back out to you guys through, right? There is no central server that all of this data needs to go through. The proof of the transactions are literally like in the network itself, and the network is made up of a bunch of just, I mean, anybody could start a node. You too could fire up your computer and start a node where the transactions are getting verified and certified and moved on. And the way this is all sort of proved to be true is that it all goes in the blockchain, right? Which is a word I'm sure tons of people have heard already, but it is also a sort of a difficult concept to understand. What is the blockchain? Well, it's sort of like a ledger. You know, you could think of it as like a piece of paper with the bills on it, right? And every time a transaction gets pushed through, that, right, you sent Billy $20, well, that gets written down on the chain, and that chain gets copied to all the other nodes, and you know, before you know it, it's all sort of passed back around to the beginning. You know, I'm not a computer scientist. I'm not going to say that I know exactly how this all works, but the point is, right, it's trustless. You don't need a financial institution. It really does go peer to peer, and that you don't need to register with a bank. You can be a war criminal. You can be a nice grandma. You can still just get yourself a Bitcoin wallet and start sending and receiving Bitcoin. And well, the only thing that can be traced back to you are the transactions on that wallet, right? And that is sort of the non-anonymous point. Anybody can look up your address and see where you're sending that money. So, right, if you're doing super sketchy stuff with your Bitcoin, that can definitely be tracked and followed. So, you know, definitely don't do that. But the point is that you could be in a poor place. You could have been turned down for bank accounts for whatever reasons. Nobody's going to turn you down for getting a Bitcoin wallet because it is literally just available to you. And I think that's pretty interesting. Okay. Anyways, enough of that sort of background noise. Where's my other coin, right? So this has all been going on for quite some time. You know, I'm hoping you know just sort of the basics around this concept. But what's happening this year is something very new, something brand new, really, because it's cool to have this coin to be able to send the money back and forth, right? But that's not really what a financial system is. A big part of what makes a financial system actually work is the ability to get money and then give it to other people without actually having it. That's you know, lending and borrowing. That is sort of the basis of finance. Most people don't even really spend their own money, right? They're often just borrowing it from the bank, and then repaying that loan, or spending on a credit card, right? And that's where a lot of the money in the world is made, by loaning this money out to other people and, well, charging them interest on that. And this is a story as old as time, right? The mob was loaning people money, probably, well, before banks. I guess you need the bank first to get the thing. But yeah, even before banks, when people were just, I don't know, using seashells or rocks to show value, there was still people giving that dude like a couple extra seashells to paint his house, and then that other dude had to pay that first dude back, you know, probably within a timely fashion and with some interest on it. right? Okay, so this whole concept, this has been basically reserved to larger financial institutions, banks, and that sort of thing. But what's happening this year, and what's so exciting, I think, about this next phase before it all gets locked down, is the power has been wrested from these financial institutions. The power is now in your hand. You can become a bank right now. You don't need to verify your ID. You don't need a bank account. You don't need any of that stuff. You just need to put a little bit of capital in. And I have this company up here, Yearn Finance. This is sort of the guys that started this whole thing, and their crazy original concept was exactly this, that you could put in money into this pool on their website, and well, what would happen is you would just earn free magic money just by letting it sit in there. Because I mean, the details around this are a little complicated as well, but basically you could loan out money from them. You could loan out just a little bit of Yearn, of a little bit of YFI, and well, take that money someplace else, and you had to pay it back based on interest. And in order to keep the money flowing, to keep liquidity, as they call it, keep money in the pot, there was no central institution for this, right? Individuals had to pool their money together. You had to put your money in the pool for people to be able to trade and loan out this money. And the thing is, what's happening right here is that the banks didn't tell you how much insane amounts of money they were earning with this system. Just absurd amounts of money, and never passing it on to the individuals, right? But that's all been flipped now, right? You can be the bank, you can loan people money, and we're not talking about 5% or 6%. We're talking about 3,000%, 5,000% on the year. Just absurd money, just a money printing machine. And this is the system that the banks have been using since they started, and they just never really told us about it. And well, now it's being wrested from the people. And this chart sort of shows how excited people got about this thing. This thing started out around $700, and at its peak, one of these coins was worth $43,000, right? So if you bought down here, and it started even cheaper than that, so insane, right? But you hear that music, right? It's I'm afraid we've made our way to the end of the show, and I'm gonna have to call it. I'm gonna hide behind my thing, but I thank you for watching, and if you watched, that's super cool, dude. So anyways, that was that. Good old 33 mark, if you know what I mean. I do want to reserve, I hate just cutting it off. I guess I have, I don't know, commitment issues. I don't like starting things. I don't like stopping things either. And once we're here in the show, it's nice. It's nice. I want to just keep it going.
Well, I mean, I guess you could keep it going. It's your show. You get to do whatever you want, dude.
Well, this this isn't my job. This is just something that I'm doing because it's amusing, and I appreciate building community. I think it's always been something I'm interested in. But this is not expecting this to pay the bills, so I will have to move on with my life. I got places to be. I got things to do. But it's always good to just be here. And I always appreciate your feedback. Kim Adams in the chat. It's great to see you, Kim. I appreciate your comments, and just feel free to reach out, write me an email, ask me a question. I just like interacting with people, honestly. Playing a little piano for you too. I just like to be a citizen of the world, and I guess that's what a lot of this crypto nonsense is. There actually is an interesting, fun part of the one world government, and it's that we get to interact with people all over the world. We get to make friends with people we'll never see face to face. Could build beautiful relationships even. And I think that's kind of cool. It's definitely going to be a selling point when things get real bad, you know. When they rebuild it all, how cool that is that you can share and spend money in Australia while you're living in Kansas, you know. And then it happens instantaneously. Because it's easy to get down in this world. It's a pretty dark place. I gotta admit, it's a dark place. But that doesn't mean that you have to be dark. You know, you can find the light in all this oppressive regime stuff. But I guess we'll see. You know, that whole presidential thing is happening tomorrow, and I feel like the world will look different after that all goes down. But I'm gonna do my best to keep getting on here, and you know, I wish you well, whatever you're doing, whatever you're up to. I hope you're taking it easy. Peace later. Wait, this is hard now. Oh fuck, I can't see when I'm hiding behind this thing. I can't see. I can't see.
Well, I mean, like, they can like see some of your face. You're not working.
Shut up. It's all good, dude. Wait, is it this button?